Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. This time we are on board Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas on a 2-night weekend round trip sailing from Southampton to Le Havre in France. This video has been done to show you the embarkation process of arriving and getting on board the ship in Southampton. We hope that you enjoy this and it gives you lots of information for any future cruises for yourselves. And please remember, we have a whole back catalogue that you can view on YouTube, and you can also find us on other social media like Facebook and Instagram. It took us 2.5 hours to get to Southampton from home, and this was the first glimpse of our Liberty of the Seas ship that we were going to be spending 2 nights on board. We arrived and we were dropped off at the terminal. This was the City Cruise terminal, and we walked straight through with our hand luggage. Given that it was a short cruise, we decided to pack light and just head straight on ship. And that was pretty much what we did do. We had already done our details online, we had our sail away pass, and we were just showing this at every point during the terminal processes, including the security and check-in. They just checked our documents, like our passports, and made sure that we were fit, well and healthy, and then we made our way straight to the ship. In fact, this was probably the quickest that we have ever got on any other ship before. From arriving at City Cruise Terminal to actually stepping foot on the Liberty of the Seas, it took us no longer than 15 minutes. We were very excited to be getting on board. We had booked this cruise around 7 months previous, and the reason for booking this one was because it had been quite some time since we were on Royal Caribbean, and this ship, the Liberty of the Seas, had been newly amplified, meaning that it had had lots of work done during a dry dock period. We got straight on board and went to our muster drill station. This is something that everybody has to do before the ship can set sail into the waters. It took all of 5 minutes, and after we had done that, we decided to go down to the main dining room and to check out our dining reservation time. We were in Michelangelo, and we decided to go for a set dining time rather than my time. If you also want to look at your dining, I would suggest you do that as soon as you get on board. We then headed down to our deck where our stateroom was, and we went to check out our room. We had booked a guarantee ocean view cabin for this cruise. We were allocated the cabin a couple of days before we got on board, and this was the lowest deck that we had ever been on, being on deck 2. In terms of size, it was quite generous though. It was set out into a queen bed with a bunk from the ceiling, and there was also a second bunk on the left hand side too. Now this ship is nearly 20 years old, and I'm not sure whether the room has had any upgrades since it was built. However, as you can see, it is pretty dated. The recent amplification did not include any of the cabin upgrades, so this is a little bit older than the recent ships that we have been on. However, in terms of storage space and size, it was super. Now, don't forget we were only on this for 2 nights. However, even if it had been 7 nights, it was perfect for a family of 3 or 4. The beds were comfortable, we dropped our cases, and then we headed to have a look around the ship before getting some food. There will be a full ship tour of the Legend of the Seas, so this is just designed to give you a little bit of a taster on what we do on embarkation day, just to get our bearings and to learn where everything is and where we might want to be. This is the Windjammer. This is the Royal Caribbean's buffet restaurant, and it is rather large. There are a couple of specialty dine-ins off of the Windjammer, but we were just going in for a buffet lunch. Both sides of the Windjammer have got the same variety of food. As you can see here, lots of choice, and it was delicious. All nicely laid out and replenished frequently. We did embark the ship at about 1:30, so by the time we got down here it was about 2:30, and as you can see there were some seats available. Notoriously on embarkation day the buffet restaurants can be rather busy, and this was no exception. We had a lovely lunch followed by desserts and also some tea and coffee. What we did really like was that the soft drinks available, iced tea, lemonade and strawberry and kiwi, were all available and also poured ready to just take. On our way out, they had the World Cup football cupcakes, and we were given some of these to enjoy as we went and looked around the ship. Our tour didn't last long because we did have swim stuff ready, and it was time for the FlowRider to be open. So obviously Rion wanted to go and take part in this, and we got him ready and queued up, and he had a good few goes. It was overcast in Southampton, our embarkation day, and so there wasn't too much of a queue. So we made the most of this, knowing that we were going to be off ship during our day in port, and it was important to have this time for him. We did need to do the safety videos, which took around 10 minutes before we were allowed on, and that was for the bodyboarding and also stand-up surfing. He did try the stand-up but wasn't as successful as he was on the bodyboarding, and so we stuck with that.
Hello everyone, just came off the FlowRider. My personal opinion was that it was very, very good, very, very fun, but like the standing up is like way harder. It's like a different level, but I'm going to try it again tomorrow and see if I can get it.
Southampton has several cruise terminals, and this one is really central. As you can see, it's very close to the city centre and it's really easy to get to. There is a lot of port parking, but there are also other parking options nearby too. The open deck pool area looked fabulous. This has been one of the main areas to have had the amplification, and you can see with the choices of slides and also splash parks for children, plus restaurants and bars too. We set sail at about 4:30 on embarkation day, and as we usually do, we sailed past Isle of Wight and was able to spot a few of the foot ferries and also car ferries. As you can see, the sun had come out from behind all of those clouds, and so the sail away was quite nice for those who wanted to catch some rays around the pool. We decided, however, to take a walk along the Royal Promenade, which is the main area on Royal Caribbean ships that run from forward to aft, and has several bars and restaurants and shops amongst the main street. After exploring this area and grabbing a drink whilst the World Cup was being played, we decided to then go back to the cabin and get ready, as we had booked the early show of Boots and Blades, which is the ice skating show in Studio B, the Ice Arena on board Liberty of the Seas. We had previously been on another of Royal Caribbean's ships, Wonder of the Seas, that had the Ice Arena, and we did watch the show. However, this one topped it. It was incredible. The talent of the staff was brilliant. The show was themed around country music in America, and it had lots of recent songs, so it was great for the children as well as the adults. The show was 45 minutes in duration and didn't stop from start to finish. We loved it and highly recommend it for the whole family. Before our dinner time, we took a walk through Bolero's Lounge and also Star Lounge, which is where we decided to stay and have a drink. The music was great as we were walking through the ship, and there was also a show on in the Star Lounge. We didn't buy a drinks package on this cruise, so we pay as we went. And this was around $15 for a cocktail and also around $5 for a mocktail or soft drink and around $10 for a beer. We walked through the Casino Royale, and as you can see, it was quite a large area with lots of options of tables and also the machines. Having sorted our dining table out earlier, we went straight to deck 4 and to our table 432 for our dinner. The menu was welcome aboard, and as you can see, lots of choice for starters, main courses and desserts, and also some extra selections with cover charges. We went for the prawns and then the soup, that was smoked tomato, and then the main courses that we selected was the steak and ale pie, which for some strange reason didn't come with potatoes, so I shared mine from my New York strip loin. Dessert was a chocolate custard and the legendary key lime pie. Rion went for the peanut butter brittle caramel. Despite being told that the ship was sailing at 95% capacity, the dining room was quite empty. I can only assume that people had chose to go for later sit-ins, but it was good for us because we were able to get dinner when we wanted to, and then we headed to the Platinum Theatre for our second show of the evening, Wild Boys. 80s music at its best with a great band playing as well. It really was super and we loved it. During the show, the lead singer went up and around the audience, and as you can see, the audience were on their feet. I think by the end of it, after we had done the phone lights, there were very few people sat down. The whole audience got fully immersed into the show. As this was the later show, it took around an hour, and after that we walked back down the Royal Promenade to our cabin to get some sleep for the night and ahead of ourselves for the next day. Thank you for joining us on this embarkation day for the Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas. We hope you've enjoyed it, and please keep tuned for what's to come.